I know I've been away for a hot minute, but I do have a really good excuse. My last build got wasted, and even though I ordered parts straight away and tried to put the build as quickly as possible, in the process of waiting, I managed to break a Mac Mini. So there's clearly something in the water, but sorta kinda back on track. Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. So just before we start, I wanted to thank you all for watching the last few videos. It seems like everyone has been enjoying the half cinematic GTA content, and I have a few more in the chamber. They might be a little bit tricky to execute, but I'll try to bring them to life because I want to tell a few more stories about Lieutenant Rio. So the inspiration for today's video comes after a conversation in our GTA group where a few people weren't really happy with this week's podium car at the casino. And some of them got it, but they were really unhappy with the stats and the performance of the car. And I think that they're missing the forest for the trees. And I want to talk about it today. So just in case you haven't noticed, GTA is this huge love letter to a lot of car-related movies and features replicas of them throughout the different dealers and garages. And because all cars are kind of created different, it's only fair that they have different stats, in the sense that not every single car needs to be competing at the fast supercar bracket. I tend to favor cars that either fit the mood, fit the lore, or the roleplay, rather than what gets me faster from A to B. So if I need to move quickly, I can always spawn a Sparrow, which breaks immersion a little bit. If I have very little time to play, I just reload the session at a different location. But my point here is, unless you're racing, the car speed becomes irrelevant very quickly. Pun intended. So in case you don't know, there's this movie called The Fast and the Furious. It was released years ago today. And if you haven't seen it, it's a story about fast cars, family, and an undercover drama. And it starts with this street race investigation and just becomes this unlikely bond. And GTA pays homage to the movie by referencing the cars and also very specific liveries. So in case you haven't seen it, I don't really want to spoil it for you. It's generation defining. I think you should give it a go. But I want to reference this one scene where Brian brings a beat-up car and says,
"Hey, pop the hood.
Pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
And the idea is that with a bit of work put into it and some really good parts, you could turn a piece of junk into a really fast car. Now this week's podium vehicle, a Dinka Kanjo SJ, inspired by an Honda Civic, has some sort of similar vibe. Now the car's acceleration and top speed isn't stellar when you compare it to supercars. But then again, show me a stock Honda Civic that can go head-to-head against a Lambo. And we certainly don't go around saying a 1963 California Spider is shit because it's slow and it handles poorly. Now the real reason why this car deserves a lot of love is because of how iconic it is. If you go back and watch the movie, you'll understand it straight away. The Kanjo replicates the Civic that it's used in the opening scene of the movie. And he certainly deserves a spot if you're like to build thematic garages. So my point here is the Kanjo isn't meant to be a speed demon built with stats to compete against the rest of the supercars. Instead, it's a tribute to an iconic car that kickstarted and defined this whole generation of car enthusiasts. Because not everything in game has to be about stats. Line doesn't always have to go up. GTA isn't only about being fast and efficient and always abide by the meta. Sometimes it's about letting yourself get immersed into the world, appreciate the storytelling and roleplay, and just enjoy the ride. And if you're lucky enough, you can get yourself one for free. Now, thanks very much for hanging out. We'll chat on the next one. Stay metal.